Hello and welcome to Mostly Off Topic Plays the One Ring 2E Alpha Edition. We're playing Loftar Dragons. It's been a while, actually. It's been a while. Life, Matt moved countries, moved jobs. People had to work. People didn't then have to work and went on holiday. Craziness. But we're back and we're playing, continuing from where we left off. And we're going to just struggle away through Tour 2E a little bit. As usual, I am joined by Ben.
Hello.
Joe.
Hello.
And from the cold, snowy wastes in some kind of elaborate sting to get free stuff from Free League, Matt.
Hey.
I could tell the internet. It's just more clear. It's just more clear coming from there, Matt. There we go. Matt's like 2 hours ahead of us, so he's kind of like, he's been through all of this already. That's how time zones, right? Yeah, Matt is now in Finland. I mean, should I say that, Matt? Am I allowed to say that? I just did say
Absolutely,
that.
Boxing Matt.
Yeah, that's right. So if
Just give
anyone
out
wants
his
to
bank
say,
details and phone number.
There's no one.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying that there's no one that is looking for me, so I'm okay with people.
That's all right.
Well, you know of.
Alive, who's looking
Yes,
for you?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be continuing with our Laughter Dragon campaign. Same characters as we've had. We're on some episode number that I couldn't remember. It's session 16 for what it's worth. Episode something. So the usual stuff. We're playing Laughter Dragons. If you're playing Laughter Dragons, thinking about playing Laughter Dragons around the area of Dale and Erebor, then we are possibly going to spoil it for you. Maybe. And I'm going to get interrupted by Kelly. He posted a video. He found out how to do YouTube videos direct from his iPad. So his production of videos has increased substantially. And now like all his friends are now more allowed to watch YouTube than they were previously. So he's like getting a few more subscribers. He did Cthulhu teaches his other teddies as a video this morning. I'm not quite sure what Cthulhu's going to teach his other teddies, but it was primarily maths.
Word of Cthulhu.
That's right. It was all very surreal. So when that happens, if you're watching on YouTube, then you'll see a really sharp edit as I edit him out. If you're on the stream, then you're just going to get told about his channel and asked to play it. And so I say this most stream starts, which is a group playing the One Ring 2nd edition. Don't look to us for the one true way. Don't look to us for really how it should be played. We're here to have fun, and that's kind of what we're going to do. And thank you everybody for the views, for the comments. Just generally been awesome. I know there's been a while since we were kind of like around, but we are going to be back today, and we're playing on Friday as well, so it's like a bit of a twofer. Touch wood. And we'll be starting earlier because Matt is now 2 hours ahead of us, but he didn't used to be. Okay, so guys, what happened last time?
I still don't know.
I just literally just
You've
told
just
you
done the recap, and I still don't know.
That's right.
So we had a meeting. We went on a walk.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a fight.
Hobgoblins. That's all I know.
That's
what's
right.
important.
So
did Balin ask us to do this, or this was King Dane, wasn't it? We were under orders from King Dane.
That's
basically.
right.
Yeah, we were asked to go fight a dragon. We went, fighting a dragon's hard. Can we get some mates in? He went, yeah, okay. And then we went to get the mates in.
Oh, and you also said, could we also have some stuff from your ample treasury? And he went, yeah, fine, whatever. So just, okay, a bit of a summary then. So tensions are tight between the city of Dale and the kingdom of Erebor. They have been kind of escalating through the last few years. You guys have been trying to understand what's going on. You played a pretty master move to kind of bring them together a little bit with the work that you did with the coat of mail from the Tomb of Girion Son that Dermy kind of like helped you to find and such like. but tensions still remain. There's quite a bit of anti-dwarf sentiment in Dale, not in Erebor, in Dale, and there's a little bit of anti-Dale sentiment within Erebor, truth being told. Dane, when you met with him, was fearful of dragons to the north. He had been having kind of dream visions of this. And he kind of swore you to secrecy by and large, which is important as to why you kind of obtained agreement to bring the Brothers Khuldrim in. And the Brothers Khuldrim have been dragon hunting for the last 2, possibly 3 seasons. So you did move north through the Dalelands, and you were heading just outside the edge of the wastes. You were heading towards the edge of the waste, reprising the path that you had come down, and you were outside the House of Brech, which is kind of like the last place before the Dalelands become the wastes, and that's where Khuldrim had based himself as you had come back. There had been a fight. Some of the hobgoblins that you had entangled yourselves with were fighting some of the non-combatants, really, and the wooden palisade that the House of Brech resides behind atop a small hill. They were racing to get back, but blood stains the worn path. There were still fresh and bleeding wicked wounds from the hobgoblins. A human girl and an older woman laying still. The colour is still fresh in their faces, but their lifeless eyes gaze, frozen at the ashen grey skies above you. Coming from the stout wooden palisade that has just opened, stream armed and armoured brethren that you are sworn to fight alongside, the company of the Brothers Khuldrim. They move past you, fan out, a couple head off searching for the figure that you saw flee. Racing past them, there's a crying boy, a mother chasing after him, tears streaming down her own eyes. Khuldrim, a veteran warrior of many battles, sworn to fight foes born in the past ages of Arda, steps out. Not coming too far from the entrance, he eyes you, almost warily, behind his open-faced helm. He seems to scan up and down, taking you in. His eyes linger slightly on Cirque's scabbard as Cirque just moves it slightly out of the way. Ooh, camera on me, thank you. At Loftar he dwells, and then onto you, Torg. Well met, friends, he growls. Come on inside. There's mead and hog meat. His gruff voice is a strange counterpoint to the wailing of the grief that you hear behind you. And he turns and he just walks into the palisade.
Who is this guy?
That is Khuldrim.
Oh, Khuldrim. Well, he's Loftar's former colleague. So,
Yeah, we've had some business in the past. Yeah.
My child! My child! Oh, what's happened to him? What's happened? Stay still, Gareth. This is the woman and the boy behind you.
Are they Dalish?
Yes.
Okay.
Rough spun clothing. Very simple. Farm folk rather than affluent members of the city.
And how is the son dead, or is he's badly wounded or something?
So the son is the boy that ran past you, but there was a girl, probably 8, maybe 9, and then another girl, probably early teens. That were the ones that had died. They're gathered around, tears are streaming down. More of the human figures, all in the same homespun cloth, kind of coming down as well. One of them is carrying a small bag. You can see some just dried herbs. Basically look more like kitchen herbs than anything else. To your eyes, Torg, with your healing skills, you're kind of like, well, that might make the roast chicken taste nice. I'm not sure it's going to do much here. And then a slightly taller figure with a flash of coloured, possibly felt, maybe velvet garments, kind of comes and just stands at the top by the door of the palisade, just looking down at the scene, shaking his head slightly. He kind of stops one of the people running down, talks to them. He nods, obviously in deference, and then bows and then kind of comes racing down. They're now starting to kind of get the bodies and starting to kind of try to bring them back up, but they're not being helped by the grief of what you think is probably a brother and quite possibly a mother.
Yeah, so I think Torg would have some concern for them. So he would want to try to go along and comfort them somewhat and just usher them into the palisades for safety's sake, really.
Yeah, so you kind of go down. There's a cluster of wailing people gathered around. The figure that you saw speak to what you think is possibly the Lord, given his finer clothing, he's kind of trying to calm them down. Come, Ingrid, come. Look, let us just get them into the halls. Oh, they didn't. The warriors. Why didn't they? Well, come, let us. They kind of turn and look at you a little bit. You see a flash of distaste in their faces, in more dwarfs, and then they kind of like recognise you as visitors and not of the Brotherhood, but they're just a little bit wary still. Oh, sorry, my lord. You have come at a bad time, but we do thank you for your work in putting yourself in harm's way to fight against those creatures.
You are right to be wary, and it is not safe here. We must head inside to the safety of the palisades.
Yes, yes. Come quick. He speaks the truth. He's a warrior. He knows these things. Let us get behind our barrier. There's naught that we can do for them now. They have passed. The child, the brother, doesn't quite understand it. Tears just streaming down. He's got his sister, similar age, head cupped there. It has to be pulled away a little bit, and then kind of almost grudgingly starts to walk up. He takes a look behind him, looks at you. Some of the warriors of the Brotherhood kind of are coming back. Can't find it, can't track it. They just walk straight past the scene of grief. No attempt to aid, no great recognition, and start to move up towards the palisade. One of them kind of clamps Loftar on the shoulder. Loftar! Well met. Fist bump.
Hi.
Good to see you. And your companions too.
Yes, likewise. Where have you travelled from?
We've been further into the west. We've just been overwintering here.
Many dragons you killed?
Nay. No dragons yet. We've been taking the lay of the land, understanding what the situation is. Khuldrim has been very careful. Dragons are strong and tricksy creatures. We do not want to go in too hasty. Let's not
serious
be
business.
Hasty, he says. Indeed,
True
serious
words.
business. Come in. There'll be mead, I'm sure. Food, provisions. You don't look like you've been able to have a proper meal on the road.
We've been out and about for a bit, and meat wouldn't go amiss. Or 5.
Come on. Let's get you in. You can clean up your weapons. Get out of the armour. Relax by the fire a little.
Thank you.
What's happening to the bodies? Are they leaving bodies lying around? Or?
No, the orcish bodies.
No, the poor Dalish folks.
They're getting picked up by the other Dalish folk. There's a couple of poles have been brought down. A very loose litter has been jury rigged together. One for the woman, one for the child.
I'd like to help out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're able to kind of get in there. You have to. It's not like you shoulder somebody out of the way to kind of like be able to help, but you have to be a little bit forceful to kind of like to be in there. But as soon as your hands start moving and you start to tie the knots off, people create a bit of space for you to kind of do your part of the job. You've got sufficient in crafts that it's a no-brainer for you. Kind of get it all together. Thank you. Can you? There, she'll be light, and they kind of lift, and you help lift the body kind of like onto, and then eyes get kind of like covered, and a kind of like dirt-stained blanket is kind of placed across and atop. The mother is down by the child, and a very similar thing kind of like happens there. One of the older men, kind of grey shot through his sides, kind of bristles with a moustache and a scraggy beard, kind of like takes her by the shoulder. Come on, let's go. Let's get you some hot broth. The other dwarves have kind of like kept on going. What you've been doing, Loftar? Do you go with the dwarves? Do you stay here?
Yeah, no, I sort of go in with the dwarves.
Okay, cool. Search yourself.
Just be trying to puzzle out what on earth's going on here. Doesn't feel right. The vibe.
Okay.
So you'd be kind of stood, certainly not following, but not kind of going to help either. Just sort of pondering the situation.
Yeah, you stand a little bit further back, just taking it all in. Loftar's off with the dwarves walking up, talking about me, talking about the journey, how was the traffic, that kind of thing. Torg is down, kind of head working with the people. He's just kind of like now lifting up the body of the child. Doesn't take 4 people to do it, but 4 people are doing it. Another couple come along to just kind of like help out.
I might actually go and have a look through the dead bodies of not the people, of the thingies. If just see if there's anything kind of identifiable on them or anything. If it's apparent that they were, do they look like the ones we've encountered before, or does it feel like a different force, basically?
We're going to find out just after we have got news from Hobbiton. Okay, so you head down to the bodies. Let's have a little look-see here. Is there a particular skill or anything like that you want to apply?
I don't know. Scan, right? Is scan the new search?
Scan is the new search, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So you can't really tell at first glance whether these are the group of hobgoblins that you fought 4 or 5 months ago or new ones, really. They kind of all look the same to you.
But make a massive racist.
Yeah, yeah. Make a circ roll. Make a scan roll. A circ roll.
What's that?
So that would be what? Target number 14 for you, I think.
The wits, 14. 10, 22, 24 extraordinaries.
24 extraordinary. So you can use your extraordinary success to spend that, and you don't lose it, but you get to do one of them things with it.
You can spend both of those, can't you?
Yes, you can. You can spend
Uh,
both Tengwars.
So, to improve in the quality of success, heroes can spend the 10 miles to trigger a number of special results. Do we have a list of special results, or is it just
Yeah, it's on the
something
page
special
over.
happens?
I think it's on the page over. This is one of those tables that you want in the GM screen just in front of you. Honestly, is.
Gain insight.
Yeah, gain insight into where they're. I'll spend one to gain insight into where they've come from, and one to try and gain insight into seeing if there's any similarities in either make or type of armor or equipment on them that looks familiar.
Yeah. Okay. So, so the second of those, you got quite close up to some of those warriors, as I recall, at some points.
Yeah, I still summon the kidneys.
Yeah, and you think that the armor is of a very similar quality. You know, you've got craft, two dots in craft, so you can kind of have a look at it. You think the armor is of very similar quality, so they're likely to be of the same tribe as before. What was the first Tengwar spent for?
To see if I can identify if there's like, have they travelled through like swampy land or
So
muddy land or grass?
they're definitely coming from the waste. Definitely got the dirt and the dust and such like covered on them. You also can kind of see that they have like dried meats in their pack that are from creatures that you would think would be more in the withered heath than the wastelands. So it might be that they've come through the waste but originated in the withered heath. That's as you're searching through, and you see and you find as you're kind of going through a few tokens with just scratches on of the sigil that you've seen around and about these areas. The sigil of, I think you learned that it was a sigil of a very old king beforehand.
Yeah, my notes are unfortunately on the iPad that I'm talking to you through.
Yeah, I can't quite remember exactly what I've told you before, but I think so. They've got kind of it's almost like scratched into small metal discs. The other thing is that they've kind of got a bit more coinage on them than you would have expected, and one of them has a current coin minted in Erebor, an old coin, so it's probably upwards of 150 to 200 years old.
Corruption.
How recent? All right, I'll pocket the one that's from Erebor, and the rest of the coinage I'll pass to the family as we come in of the dead people.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a number now of the ones that so they've carried kind of like the litters behind the palisade, and some of the Dalish guys are coming down to start to tidy up the battlefield, recovering anything that looks to be of value, and you can see that they're going to aim to burn the corpses. But as you kind of like head in, so Loftar, I'll pick up with you, Loftar. So you're kind of going in with these dwarven warriors. You go into the palisade area. It's dirt at the moment, but with the first rains it's going to become mud. There's a big single story quite sharp eaves building in front of you. Smoke is rising out of two chimneys, and then a central area, kind of like smoke is rising up out of the thatch there. There's a couple of entrances, one of which is a fairly large porch, and another one that looks like a smaller area, kind of with a small herb garden out in front. And there are a number of less well constructed buildings around the edges. One of looks to be a small forge. One looks to be a small stables, and there's quite a bit of bedding in the stables area, and then what you think might be a servants quarters, and there's quite a lot of people gathered around that. There's kind of women hanging out, kind of like the washing. Everybody's kind of very muted at the moment. No children really kind of like racing around or anything like that. There's a group of children are kind of gathered around the boy that was taken back up, and they're all just stroking him and kind of like just trying to make him feel better. He's trying to brush them off a little bit. The dwarven fellows that you're accompanying walk straight through all of that. They pay no great heed. They walk straight into the through the porch area, kind of kick the boots on, get some of the dirt and the dust off, and they kind of head straight into this single large room. Big fire, small fire pit, table kind of spread around the fire pit. The scent of hog meat, kind of roasting hog on the fire, kind of comes to you. A small wooden plate is passed to you. It's kind of got the juices of the pork flesh. Got a few bits of greenery. Kind of, one of the guys comes and puts a load of salt on top of it. A flagon of mead is pushed into your hand, and kind of you're able just to sit down. A couple of the dwarves with their feet up on the table of the hall, and Khuldrim sits in the master's chair at the head of the table, slightly elevated.
Okay.
Kind of just kind of watching the whole thing in front of him, and flagon of mead there. He kind of like takes a little bit of a drink, juices running kind of like down as he does. He's got his chain armor on. He's kind of got his axe by the side.
Nice.
The other dwarves have mostly got their weapons with them as well, but you've seen none of the Dalish folk armed.
Interesting.
And then they have arms like these, but not armed with weapons.
Is Khuldrim kind of making slurping noises as he eats and drinks as well?
He's not giving it the Denethor. He's not giving it a Denethor, no.
Yeah.
Is there any space near Khuldrim?
Yeah, Khuldrim's kind of like almost in a little bit of an island of his own. He's not kind of like got acres around him, but people are giving him his own space, being respectful of him more than anything else.
I'll just approach, just before I go straight approach to Khuldrim. Just to
Loftar.
sort of sit. Khuldrim, good to see you after a while.
Well, we saw you just before the winter as you and your companions came through.
Yes, indeed. I thought I'll share mead with you. Sit down, listen to all your stories of your fantastic adventures that are no lesser than mine, of course. So I'm keen to find out.
It's a fine mattock you have there, Loftar. And you look pretty good for your days. So you can like just reaches out, pat your belly a little bit. That's not
nice.
Quite had the summer fat the winter fat burned off of it.
Well, if I didn't know you for a moment, I would have thought you're paying me a compliment, Khuldrim. Are you getting soft? Hopefully not.
No.
Right. Yes.
Looks like the years have been good for you,
doing my best, old pal.
Where were you coming from that last summer, out in the wastes, with your companions looking ragtag and under pressure?
Yeah, it takes me back. It must have been some dwarven business. Balin, perhaps. But give me a couple of mugs of mead, and I'm sure I can, elaborate a bit more on the story.
Finish what's in front of you before you start eyeing the next thing.
Well, you've got to think, long term. We're dwarves.
We are dwarves, aye, that we are. And he just seems to relax a little bit at that and kind of looks down into his drink and looks straight back up at you, straight in the eye.
What troubles you, Khuldrim? You feel a bit unease, and I haven't seen you like that many times. I think the last time perhaps was the Battle of the Five Armies.
Bing, bing, bing!
Sound the klaxon.
The Battle of the Five Armies, you say, Loftar. I know that you don't like to talk about it.
Well, every now and then it must be mentioned, because otherwise, if you forget the history, it tends to repeat itself. So
there's no free mead here for mentioning it, Loftar. There's no point. Some stuff does ail me. You've got that right. Some stuff. We had a difficult. I'm just going to fix the focus on this because it's just irritating me.
So basically, what I'm trying to achieve is, through a bit of banter, just liven up his spirit a little bit. He looks, he's an old mate, so I'm trying to lift up his spirit a little bit, but also find out if there's any real trouble and maybe there's any help. Obviously, lots of banter, but trying to. Yeah.
Okay, so make so that would either be in Hearten if you're going to focus on lifting his spirits, or it would be insight if you're trying to kind of gain a little bit of a view on what may be ailing him.
No, and Hearten, it's. I know he will tell me one way or the other probably later on. So I think it's bad to see a
pillow talk.
I mean, like I said. We go way back, the Battle of Five Armies. There were other events as well that we have experienced together. So what I'm trying to say is, I want to make him feel a little bit better, at least. Banter.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going with the Hunter and Hearten.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a target number 17 for you, I think.
It's 20. Great success.
Okay, so do you want to spend that Tengwa?
And I can spend it to gain some insight.
So you can cancel a failure, which isn't apparent. You can score one additional success, which isn't needed because it's not trying to accumulate successes. You can gain insight, so you gain some additional information that might not necessarily be to hand. And I like what Ben did in terms of saying, I'd like to learn about this particular thing. So, there's something there. You can go quietly, so you can be whispering in his ear. You can make haste, so you can be talking really quick, or you could try to widen your influence so that you're enheartening more of the group. So you kind of get the band of brothers together rather than just.
Oh, I like that suggestion, Mr. Lawmaster. I like that one really. So maybe a bit loudly. I'm actually good at that apparently. A bit more loudly, to carry that conversation so that it perhaps picks up a few other dwarves as well, just to be more positive.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of thing? So you're going to achieve this. So essentially, you'll start to bring a little bit of dwarven cheer to the group. So just narrate through you bringing a bit of dwarven cheer to us. You got narrative control here, Loftar. Go.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I approached you. It's good that I've seen you, but it looks like something troubles you, and I'm keen to find out what I've been up to. Like you said, we've seen each other. Was it last winter? We don't often talk about these things, but it's good to sometimes open up and share some experiences. Maybe there's something that I can help you. I know we talked a long time ago about hunting some dragons together. Who knows? Maybe there's a story that you want to tell me.
He's aye, and like some of the weariness just falls from him a little bit. We've been hunting dragons, very difficult creatures, hard just to get to the withered heath, let alone to explore what's there. We travel north, Fort Orc. Fought amongst ourselves a little, truth be told. That's what's been stressing me a little. There's a dragon there, without a doubt, I'm sure. But we just weren't able to kind of find its lair. Come on, lads. What was the best part of the expedition for you? And they kind of like start to recount kind of different parts of the expedition. But essentially, all that you kind of learn from that is that they went through the waste to the foothills of the Withered Heath, encountered a number of orc bands that they slayed, and lots of recounting of how that happened, and then they recovered back here where they've been overwintering.
Mm-hmm.
Make an insight roll for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be target number 17. And remember, you need to declare if you're going to spend hope before the roll.
Yeah, I probably will. It's early days, so I will, because my insight is... I'm not that
Remember, you
insight.
don't recover hope at this moment in time.
Well, on the roll is 16, so it seems like a good decision to spend that point of hope. And it's an early investment, so I get from the point of...
No, you roll another d6. You're going to roll another 6
I'll just...
dice.
Okay, yeah, okay, let me roll that. This is a 4, so it's 20.
Yeah, okay. So it's probably a little past the point where you would have thought that you could have started to adventure into the wastes. And from your observation as you kind of came through the House of Brech, and from your observation of these dwarves, they've not yet got themselves into a position where they're about to embark on the next seasons of activity. They do not look like, okay, great, break camp tomorrow, guys. We've got enough provisions, off we go. It does not feel like that at all. And you've been in that situation before, where you kind of making sure you got supplies, making sure you got that, you got this, you got the other.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think whether this is the men, in this case dwarves, or shortage thereof perhaps, or provisions and resources.
Matt, Geo Tokyo Time is asking what your traits are. Could you tell us what Loftar's traits are, please?
Yes, it's if I can find that out, I'll tell you. But I must admit, first 15 minutes I was into this session, I was looking at the character sheet, and I was like, "What the hell's going on? Why do I have a spear?" And it turns out I was staring at Alaric's character sheet for about 15 minutes. So just bear with me. Is it distinctive
the
features
from our previous campaign in Mirkwood?
Yeah.
Very different character to Loftar.
Yeah.
So not as tall. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think you've got enemy
Loftar's
law
not
orcs,
Alaric, but Alaric was definitely Loftar.
fierce, and I think you've got proud with a flavour of determined.
Yes, that's right. Yes, very good. Thank you, Lawmaster. That's about the traits that I have.
Yeah, okay, so you're kind of engaging these people in conversation. Cirque, what are your traits?
Fierce, willful, and rhymes with law.
That's right. And Torg, you're the next to kind of like come up, kind of carrying the a corner of the chow's litter as it's been brought back in. Walk through the wooden palisade. The wooden palisade to your eye is defensible, but not sturdy defensible. You're not going to be hiding behind this on a determined siege, but it'll kind of do the job certainly. The Dalish folk are more in number than the brothers, the company of the brothers. There's a lot of subdued activity. The children are over there. You kind of see the same layout as you did before. There's a well that you can see off to one side. The figure that you took to be the master in coloured breeches and such like is got his arm around the grieving lady, and they're talking quietly off to one side. You're taken kind of through into and everybody's starting to walk towards the hall, and the master's nay else here. They are the servants. They're the servants' quarters. That is not a place. Just through there, and the figure at the head looks at what you assume to be the master and just like stares at him, almost challenge him, and the master gives a slight shrug, and then they all acquiesce, and you kind of take it through. The servants' quarters that you're kind of shown into are just packed. There's many more people in this space, many more people's stuff in this space than you would have, than it was ever designed for. This is like a submarine carrying an additional crew level of like jammed in there, and space is cleared, and the child is taken off the litter and placed onto one of the tables. The table rocks a little bit because it's not quite even on the floor. This is not a place for this. This should be done in the hall. Lord Scarf knows what he's doing. This is the defence that the Brotherhood gives us is more than sufficient. It's good that they're here. What would have happened if those hobgoblins had come and they were not? You can see that the figure doesn't really believe in his words. And I was like, the palisade would have stopped us, and they did nothing to save them. They're just eating and drinking. Quiet, just quiet. They are a curse upon this place. No benefit whatsoever. The sooner that they are gone to take their dragon, the better. We should have said something to Lord Elstan when he came through. Aye, well, when he comes back, we'll make sure our representations are known. He'll take it through to King Bard, won't he? King Bard wouldn't let these dwarves come here and push us around. Not if he knew. Lord Scarf knows what he's doing. Please, let's just deal with this. And you kind of like very politely moved and pushed out as they start to undertake their funereal rites.
This doesn't sit well with me. Mm-hmm. It feels completely it's abhorrent to talk. So they basically want to perform a ritual of passing for this boy.
They're going to clean him up.
Yeah, and they want to do it. They would rather do it in the hall.
Yes, but the leader of their community has moved them away from the hall and has kind of directed them this way.
Okay, well, I think Torg is strong-headed enough that he's willing to face the consequences. So, if he's reading the room right, and these people are upset that they've been pushed into this small room with no sense of kind of.
You've got three dots in insight. The emotions are plain to see. There's no need to roll.
Yep. So I'm going to move over to the table where the boy is. And I'm going to, showing that I'm very gentle and respectful, I'm going to lift him up and start to carry him through to the hall.
So you start to lift him, and he's nothing to you. As in, his weight is nothing to you. It's not that he's nothing to you. It's that his weight is nothing to you. Yeah. And as you do so, there's and a couple of the figures kind of come to intervene, and the older one kind of he fought the goblins. He's not, and look at his standing, and they kind of all kind of like move back, and you the gentleness with which you carry and the respect that you show is evident. So they kind of part ways as you're kind of like carrying the boy out. You can hear the sobbing of the mum, and you can hear the brother say, "Just leave me alone!" to the other kids, who just back off instinctively as you kind of like walk through. You can hear a bit more raucous cheering coming from the hall than you might have expected at this point. And Cirque is walking through with a puzzled and considered look as he's just working his way through everything that he's seen and is seeing. When Cirque, you see this whole thing kind of like coming, Torg carrying this 6 or so feet behind him, a group of the Dalish kind of coming through, and you see on the face of the what you take to be the Lord, a kind of face that is just torn and doesn't quite know what to do, but is starting to move across on a course to intercept Torg. And then Loftar jumps on the table and he starts giving it some Russian dancing. Hey, 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 hey! Starts to come out of the hall.
I'd like to sing a song as I carry him into the hall, a kind of traditional dwarven song of passing.
Okay.
And its tone is kind of not necessarily mournful, but somber. As this is a moment that we all must face, and it's not the end. It's just a new beginning, and he returns to the mountain, returns to the earth, and life grows anew from that which he gives back. It's that kind of tone.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I have no idea about reading the situation because he's socially inept in these type of things, but he would recognise the song and the rituals of passing and stuff as part of like the lore of the dwarves. So he will support and join in the song.
So Cirque falls in step, kind of like beside you, and you've got what, 2 dots in song, Torg, and Cirque has got 1 dot in song. So you're all right. You've got 2. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I misread for some reason. So yeah, so you're more than able to carry the tune and kind of like represent it with the meaning that you're kind of coming to. Nobody around knows the words, but the universal kind of like temper of a morning song with a U, not early morning. Morning is broken. As you kind of move through, the Lord stops, sighs, curses, and then kind of goes through the other entrance as you're making your way around to the porchway. The group behind you is starting to swell a little bit.
Okay. Well,
you can hear the kind of like the buzz from within the hall. You can hear Loftar kind of like voice. Mead. His voice is at Mead volume.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll not believe this. I fought in a battle of the 5 armies. Hey! And you can hear everything goes quiet, and then there's a bang, 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 bang as mugs hit the table.
So, I mean, Torg is just processing in slowly, and the voice is it's quite low. He's not kind of singing like everyone look at me. He's taking this moment seriously. Like his focus is on this child who has died and moved on from this Middle Earth.
You process through the porch. You process into the room, a big long hall. Smoke from the fire pit kind of swirls up as it gets caught by the draft of the opening in the roof ahead. The kitchen area, the doors open, the Lord is just stepped there. Dwarves kind of arranged here, there, everywhere. Loftar, Khuldrim, heads close, private word space kind of around them. Your tune isn't strong or strident enough really pierce into the room, but those that are kind of beside you look slightly quizzically. One of them kind of like joins or almost automatically in with the song, and then kind of like slowly as the kind of like move as the song kind of like moves from dwarf to dwarf, all kind of know the words, all kind of like know what the purpose of the song is. Almost automatically they kind of start to come in, and then it's almost as if the sound of that reaches the consciousness of Khuldrim and Loftar. So Loftar, you can now see Torg accompanied by Cirque, very respectfully slow marching in. There's a child in Torg's hands, this mud-stained cloth tunic, darkened by the blood wound, eyes kind of closed. More the Dalish folk processing in behind. The Lord just at the entrance of the kitchenway. Other dwarves, the funereal song.
Okay. Well, I know it's not my party, so I'll just gently nudge Khuldrim and just, again, gently indicate that there's other presence in the room and see where it takes it. See where he wants to take it.
Khuldrim stands and looks across at you. You can't move any further forward because there's no space to move further forward. There's plates and mead and the oil of food spilled and the mead, the liquid on the table there. There's no clear place to put this child down. Cirque stands beside you. Loftar has just nudged Khuldrim. Khuldrim stood. The Dalish folk behind you. The Lord off to one side. Others gathering around and behind. All the other dwarves just kind of like stop singing. Cirque and yourself continue. And they kind of like look to Khuldrim and look across to you. Make way for the Lord carrying the fallen, Khuldrim says. And they kind of like move and kind of like breathe in and such like. Essentially, you've got like a U of tables around the fire pit in the centre. One of the figures behind says it would be down the other end. It kind of skirts ahead and come quick, and a couple of the maids come out of the kitchen and a lad and a lass, they start to clear off some of this. One of them's kind of got a bit of a cloth, clears it down, and then some reeds are brought through, and a kind of pewter vase is brought, some incense is placed, and it starts to burn a little.
Okay, I'll nod in thanks to Khuldrim.
He doesn't return anything to you.
No, I wouldn't expect it, but I appreciate that he's kind of acquiesced to the situation. And then
can you all make insight rolls for me, please?
Everyone.
Technically, I think under this rule set, whomever you get to choose who wants to make the roll, but I'm quite happy for you all to make insight rolls, to be perfectly honest.
I'll give it a go.
I think for an insight check like this, which isn't like you're deciding on a course of action, then I think everybody would make their own roll.
It's a no for me.
No for me.
I got 18.
So your target number for insight, Torg, is 16.
16, yep.
So as you're kind of like going down, there's almost a look of relief on the Lord's face. And he suddenly bursts into action, and he starts to kind of like take a little bit of control of the proceedings, and starts to kind of you place the child down on the table referentially, and he takes over from there.
Yeah.
Gets some cloths, starts to kind of like just clean out that. You're now almost an intruder into an event that you have been the catalyst to create.
Away, definitely.
Okay. Some hasty sheets and screens are kind of built around the end of the as you kind of like stood there watching. They kind of like started to put them up to create just a sense of privacy in that space. The Dalish folk kind of go mostly around. They don't go through the hall. They kind of like come around. You can hear there's a lot of figures now starting to kind of like move and such like behind. Khuldrim sits down. He turns to you, Loftar. And then, what did you say to the orc? You'd just been chatting about how you were goading an orc in the Battle of the Fireflies.
There was not much to say. I got my magic out and smashed him right in the face.
Good.
As you do.
Good. What are you guys doing? Khuldrim has gone back to the conversation that he was having, as if nothing happened. And slowly, almost slightly forced, conversation starts to spark up in the other groups of dwarves, but it's not got the energy or the vigour that it had prior to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Torg is not in party spirits. I think after this, Torg's primary concern will be to kind of familiarise himself with the structure of the building and the safety, and maybe look in on the room full of Dalish people. Although have they all kind of come through into the hall?
No, so they've very, very explicitly not come through the hall. So they went around to the other opening, and they're filtering in through the kitchen area.
Okay.
So the hall is exclusively dwarves. One of the kind of dwarves kind of like runs out mead, goes over to a barrel, kind of like tries to refill his mead glass. There's nothing coming through the tap. So he kind of like shouts, "Oi! Hey, yo!" No, nobody comes through. So he kind of like drunkenly staggers a little bit, pulls the kind of curtain aside. "Come on, thirsty out here. We had hard work today." One of the figures kind of goes. The couple of them come out and start to take that away. He kind of goes and sits down and starts to like just pick at the cold meat in front of him.
So he's getting the Dalish servants to wait on him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see. This is a strange setup for the dwarves living in the dream of such finery out here. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. Sir, what do you make of this setup?
So where are you talking, guys? Where have you retired to?
I Torg kind of just stepped back away from the ceremony. I guess he just wants to survey the situation in the hall and see what's going on with these the revelers and what's around them. I mean, he is wary. He's naturally wary, and this has it's not the safest situation given where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of lurking in the shadows almost. Certainly being a wallflower, more than mingling and slapping backs and knocking tankards together.
Yeah. Sir could be with you on that. He's never been one for partying with warrior types anyway. So he'd have been. It's just kind of. It's not kept to your heels as such, but kind of after falling into step with you, would still be alongside, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't like it. This doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right last time we were here either, if I recall. There's something off about this place and this group. And look, I've searched the bodies. Symbol again. Keeps recurring. As does this. And I'll flick the coin to him.
And this was on a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Gold.
Oh, it's an old coin. Money travels. It could have gone anywhere. But it seems we just seeing the same things happening again and again and again. These patterns keep repeating. And I might not be one to read a situation, but I'm good with patterns and with themes of information. And this is what I keep seeing. There's a link here, something we're not seeing yet, some involvement that we're not picking up on. And I don't think we're party to the information we might need to actually get out of this without much trouble.
No, we are in the dark with no weapons.
Mm.
And who should we make friends with in order to understand this situation better? So
if you're starting to talk people, I'm going to say, yeah, people information, that's not my territory, safe to say.
Well, it's obvious who the lord of this place is.
Yeah, and it ain't the one in the fancy clothes.
No?
No, not the bright coloured felt ones anyway. It's the one that our good buddies up there having a drink with. Oh. Even I can read that.
And how does a dwarf come to a place like this and have the men of Dale at his beck and call?
Well, I don't know many men of Dale that have run round after me, do you?
For different reasons, though, sir.
Run away, maybe. Chasing barmaids ain't what I meant.
No, that's more Loftar's.
True.
Oh, maybe Loftar has the ear of Khuldrim. Maybe we speak to the erstwhile lord of this place, just to understand his relationship with Khuldrim.
Lead the way.
I think so. Maybe we do some kind of formal introduction to the Lord in the finery, just by way of courtesy, just to start to put the feelers out, not in a kind of, Loftar investigates kind of sense.
Oh well, I mean that's trademarked. You'd get sued.
We didn't kick in the door for a start.
This is like the gentler spin-off series,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more Cagney.
Baywatch Nights.
It's there's less stealth and less matic work than in an investigation of Loftar Investigates.
Yeah.
Slightly lower body count.
Yeah. Okay, so first off then, Torg, make a scan roll, because you did say you wanted to go check out this whole place and such like. Is there anything in particular that you're seeking to learn?
Torg is not into architecture. He's not into he knows a bit about craft, so he'll be looking for kind of wood rot. He'll be looking for weak points or just badly put together joists and things like that, and getting an overall sense of the sturdiness. Obviously, our end game, our ultimate goal is a dragon. It's not going to be dragon proof, but we know that there's hobgoblins and whatnot. So that kind of level.
There are.
So scan is 3.
I'll support you in this.
Okay,
nice.
so you're being supported by your focus, so I think that makes you inspired. So I think you have to spend a point of hope, Cirque, and if you want to spend a point of hope, you get 2 success dice.
So if it just supports me normally,
then you get 1 additional dice, I think.
Yeah, but does he have to?
Yes, I've spent my point to support you. So you get a thing for that, don't you? For being you get 1 for being inspired, and then if you choose to do it yourself, you can do it the other way.
All right, let's just
I think.
supporting. So a player hero can help their companions with tasks assuming their skill and relevant skill. So the supporting character spends 1 point of hope, and the person making the roll gains 1 dice extra. Okay, so that's what you get out of the box. And because you're being supported by your fellowship focus, you're also inspired. So if you were to choose to spend a point of hope, you would get 2 dice rather than the 1 dice. So you could get 3 dice. Is my rule.
Nice. My target number is 16. Because I'm being supported, I'm rolling 4 plus the feat dice, so I feel like that's enough.
Yeah, okay.
Although it's tempting to just do it, I'm not going to spend an extra.
Yeah, so you're getting 1 extra dice from Cirque's hope spend.
Yeah, it's not amazing, to be honest. It's 17. 17, yeah. No, it's 18.
18 against 16.
Target number 16. No 10 wilds, though.
Okay. So as you're kind of like talking and you're clearly observing, you're observing the place, and Cirque can see this. So you Torg think that it's relatively sturdy. It's clearly been here a long while. It's clearly maintained. There's enough carpenters and joiners and whatnot on staff that it kind of gets maintained. But Cirque, you point out that if we're thinking about dragons, it's all very flammable. Wooden palisade, kind of wooden joists, wooden timbers, thatched roof. Nothing on here is going to survive dragon breath.
We might actually be better if it starts the rains come early. At least damp wood only smoulders. Although against dragonfire, I'm not even sure if that helps.
Let us hope for rain.
It's like an England cricket team. Just hope for rain, boys.
Bud Light. It's Bud Light.
Yeah. Okay, but you kind of head out, and you kind of looking around for the lord of the manor. A bit of time passes, in the order of maybe 20-ish minutes or so, and you kind of like see groups of people moving around. And in a place like this, there's always jobs to get done, and everybody knows that if you don't do the job in hand, then you only got it later, and it's 10 times harder. So, despite what has happened, people have to get on and do the work that they're doing. The bulk of the food that's been prepared for the Dalish folk is in outdoor spaces over open pits. What looks to be a reasonably, from the glance that you had, well appointed kitchen area isn't really feeding those guys, and a lot more food goes into the kitchen than necessarily goes to these open pits. But after a little while, kind of coming out looking under pressure, but a little bit more at ease than previously, the figure. And by finery, that's a relative measure. If this guy was in Dale, you'd be thinking he was panhandling coppers. But because he's out here, he looks like he's the Lord.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll still, approach him with deference.
Mm-hmm. You've got a lordly trait, so yeah.
And genuinely, Torg appreciates any time he's given, or him and his companions are given bed and board. So I'll just greet him with courtesy and introduce myself and Cirque.
He curly stops. You did a good thing. I'll thank you for that. A good thing you did. Not many would have done
on
that.
the closed captions.
I'll try and be more. You did a good thing.
Accessible version.
I am Scarf. I'm the lord of this place.
Scarf.
House of Brech. Scarf.
Lord Scarf.
Lord Scarf.
Scarf.
Lord Scar.
Snarf.
Yeah, Snarf. It's like a mix between Scar and Snarf. It's really weird. Well met.
An honour, Lord Scarf. I am Torg, son of Tordek, and this is my companion, Zerk. We wanted to thank you personally for offering bed and board and safety.
It's the least I can do. No, it's literally the least I can do. For any friend of Khuldrim's a friend of ours.
It's a good friend, is he, Lord Khuldrim? I must admit, I don't know him that well.
He's been here a couple of winters now. He's a good friend. Him and his brothers do us a good turn every now and again. Yes, he's him and his band do good work for us. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna just deal with
See
this.
much trouble out here, do you?
Well, we're on the edge of the wastes. Any group with the might and the weapons that'll be helpful to us. Don't get much support from Dale. The captain, Lord Elstan, did come through here with some small troop. Just not so far before you arrived, headed off into the wastes.
Who did?
Really know.
Who did?
Lord
sorry?
Elstan, Captain
Elstan.
Elstan. So you all will know that Elstan was captain of the guard, getting on a bit, appointed kind of like a few years ago, probably reaching the end of his career.
The guard.
Quite close to King Dale. King
Oh,
Guard.
okay. So he's the Dalish guard then.
Yeah, Dale's guard. Yeah.
And Elstan was heading north from here
Into the wastes.
into
You
the wastes.
wouldn't say why he came here. Stayed a few days. Got some provisions. And then he's moved on into the wastes.
with a sizable band, or
No, I wouldn't say that. Just a couple of his men-at-arms.
strange that the captain of the guard would travel so lightly.
He looked tired, I gotta say. I'm not sure that he was... not sure if he's still captain so much as an honorary rank from where he used to be. Used to be a proud old warrior, did Elstan.
Has he ventured this far before?
Now that you think about it, I think he might have done when... that would have been a few years ago, that would have been. King Dale used to come and survey the edge of his territory. Glance off into the waste, know what lurked out there and what he needed to keep it tight. He renewed our warrant, said we were able to be walled, said he understood the danger, so maybe been once or twice since then, but never really stayed that long.
Well, we should probably let you carry on about your tasks, Lord Scarf. I'm sure you have many people wishing to bend your ear to make decisions upon this and that, such is the way of a lord of a nice house as this. But if there's anything that you wish, Lord Scarf, that I or my companion Sir can do for you, no matter how small the task or how big, please come to us.
Do you not claim companionship of the other one?
Oh, Loftar is our companion as well, but he is deep within his cups, and I would not approach him for help with anything of great import tonight.
He seems to be pretty well known to Khuldrim.
Yeah, I think they were in the Battle of the Five Armies together.
Think.
Everybody around, there's hey from the from the hall, all the Danish guys drinking like this.
Someone just said Battle of the Five Armies.
Scarf puts his hip flask away. Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. It's been a long old winter.
Hmm.
Right.
Well met, and thanks for observing the old courtesies. It's
Fair enough.
appreciated.
Well, nothing if we don't learn from our past.
Okay, so Loftar, what are you doing? Kind of this curtain has been pulled kind of like around the other edge. More food's been brought out. The mead keg has been refreshed. Somebody said the Battle of Five Armies outside.
Oh, it's coming as well. Yes, we will go deep into the analysis of tactics and strategy used and so on. But so Khuldrim, we've been mugs deep and pork aplenty. But tell me, what's the?
I'm glad it was that way around.
We are listed as like an 18+ stream, right?
Yeah, we are. We're mature audience.
That's fun.
Romance between Khuldrim.
Yeah.
And
They're mugs deep and pork aplenty. So.
But what's the next step? What are we doing? I mean, it clearly seems that us being here, while you're here as well, is a good idea and an opportunity. Maybe we put something together. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying, maybe there's a conversation to be had. And because you've told me lots about these dragons now, and I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm actually eager to go. So, I'm not offering anything because I have to, run it by my companions. But we can pencil in some sort of arrangements, because of the past and the Battle of Five Armies, and whatnot. Yeah. So no, but seriously, what would make us move on or get off our backs? I mean, party is nice, but my mattock is getting restless. What would it take?
How drunk is Loftar?
He's well into it. He's saying Battle of the Five Armies too many times. But he
Constitution saving throw.
But obviously as a seasoned veteran, he does spot an opportunity. So he pretends that he had 3 more mugs in that he perhaps had, if that makes sense.
But he's still plenty pissed.
Just a little. Yeah, always pissed. I mean, sorry. During these occasions, always pissed.
Okay.
But pretending just a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So make an ill-favored insight roll. So you roll the feed dice twice, and you take the lowest roll.
Oh, I can tell you it's going to be 3. Oh, I've got 10 on the first roll. Damn it! On the feet. The other one is 4. So there you go. It's 10 in total now.
Okay. So Khuldrim kind of looks at you, kind of like he's got mead himself. He's kind of like got what looked to be a chicken leg. Are you saying that you and your companions are going to join us in the fight against the dragon?
Well, it would have made sense, wouldn't it? I mean, the least we can do is hold his, tail, kind of, and then you could just, stab him or chop him, Just saying.
You ever fought a dragon?
I can't say that I have. No. Maybe that's the reason, you see, I'm so keen.
Like you couldn't tell from that previous description. He's that drunk himself. So you know the technique then?
the Loftar technique.
It's the special moves.
Ever seen a dragon?
Oh, I think I've seen a few in my youth, traveling. But that's many winters have passed since then, traveling with the caravan.
If you weren't up here fighting dragons, what were you doing last year?
Hang on, sorry, just a time out. We have seen that thing. Was that thing in the cave? Was that a dragon? Or some
Sorry, what thing? You heard a scream. You heard.
We never saw anything.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
We did wait around long enough to see it.
You saw a scream, and I think it was a scream that sounded like a mother seeing the death of her firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we should have been haunted by the outside.
Cry.
Well, I'm going to have to steer the conversation because I don't know how much I can tell him about the what I did. It's like one of those I know what you did last winter type of situations.
Loftar's forgotten by now, to be fair.
Of course
He's got no recollection.
And then I held his tail, right, and I fucking gave it some of this!
He hasn't remembered anything since the Battle of the Five Armies where he got hit on the head.
No, that's the only thing that he actually remembers because it's part of the
character. That's where his short-term amnesia starts.
So, you feel it? I feel you've been a bit evasive there, Loftar. Come on, whereabouts are you?
Well, it's just like maybe a bit below my station, but I was helping out a fellow company. They wanted a bit of extra protection. There was a bit of an issue. I had to do a little investigation. I'm kind of in my old age getting interested into those things, like looking for clues, and then something pops up over there, and you can whack it on the head, or just discover something. So,
I'm gonna go to bed.
Oh,
I think you guys be a great advantage to us. We've got another week or so here. Get all the supplies. You don't go into the wastes without the proper planning.
Yeah.
But I think you and your fine axe and your fine coat of mail, I think you'll be fine joining us. And he kind of stands.
Yeah, let's drink to that.
Puts down this fine mead mug that he's using. You see Lord Scarf coat of arms etched into it. And he kind of gets up and he kind of like moves, and you see him go off to what you would ordinarily be the master's chambers. Lord Scoff's wife doesn't quite kind of like follow him in. Lord Scoff's wife doesn't quite follow him in, but yeah, the rest of the dwarves it all kind of like peters out. Some of them are already asleep.
It's okay for some. Yeah. I go and in that case reconvene with my companions. Just do a kit. Let's have a kit, guys. I'll set up a Zoom meeting.
So those
through
guys
a window.
You're probably kind of outside in the courtyard. It's a warm enough evening, and you see the light of the stars above you. The ashen grey is just slightly broken a little bit as it kind of comes over, and you smell Loftar's approach before you see his body in front of you.
Hello, boys.
You're all suddenly intoxicated by the aura that hits.
Well then, Loftar, let me help you along there.
What's been happening?
You're leaning towards your mattock side. Let me prop you up.
Sure. Thank you. Much appreciated. Very much. Thank you very much. What's been happening? How you been doing? I miss you guys.
The fresh air has hit him.
I'm sorry we couldn't join you for some mead, Loftar. We had other things to attend to, but I think you did a fair showing for all of us there.
Well, me and my Mocha Khuldrim had a good old chat about the Battle of the Five Armies, and then how it goes. So I may had a bit more than perhaps I should have, but I wanted to have a discussion with you about what we're doing and where we want to go. I have some information as well, but I'm keen to find out how are you guys doing. Are you all right outside?
But how are you in yourself?
Be happy. That's what really matters.
Yeah,
I'm chipper.
Yeah. Well, Loftar, we've had a good look around, and we think that this structure doesn't have any major immediate problems. There are no holes that a hobgoblin could run and place a bomb underneath or anything like that.
Yeah. Did we check the well that it doesn't lead to a culvert somewhere?
Have you made sure you look at the blueprints? Because sometimes there'll be old structures hidden underneath, like the stuff that goes back many years. Just say
Blueprints, Loftar. Yes, we'll look at those. Look at those in the morning. Yes. So Khuldrim said we would stay here for a week. Did he? A week?
Yeah, I can. I guess. I mean, I'm not might not be the most diplomatic of dwarves, or maybe I am. I could argue both. The bottom line is there's a bit of a bad chemistry in this place, and I feel for the future of us dwarves here. I think moving on is a good idea, at least some of us. So I had a chat with Khuldrim about this, and as long as he can just stock up on resources, we could move on in a week. There's a bad vibe about this whole place here. I think you probably know this as well. I don't like it.
And I don't know how much you guys have read up on the encounters and lore and history, both within our own area and also within the kind of laws of men. But it feels like something I believe is called a protection racket. It doesn't of the rankest order. It's yes, I mutually beneficial relationships exist in the world. There's something called symbiosis in the natural world. It's a fascinating read if ever you get an opportunity, where two things are mutually beneficial to each other and kind of work together for the betterment of both entities. This feels like what they call a parasite. Something living off something else for its own betterment. I don't know about you guys, but it feels very undwarfish. Not to sort yourself out, but just to be weighted on hand and foot. And yes, I understand that a fair proportion of our, I think of the term, countrymen, colleagues, of our fellows like to have a drink and eat. I like to do the eating part. I'm not so bothered about the drinking. But generally, we go and get our own mead, and we go and kind of take our turn at the spit. And we know how to go chop our own bit of pork off a pig. Not served to us like it is here. It doesn't feel dwarfy. It feels entitled. And that way, we've seen what happened when we've encountered entitled people on our journeys. I've seen it in court back home. It doesn't lead to the betterment of our people. When you're not prepared to work for what you want, but you expect it to be brought to you on a promise of something you might do in the future, rather than for proven worth and want and reward. I don't like it. For what I know.
No, you're right, sir. It's it does not sit with me well at all to see dwarves lazing slovenly, full of greed, waiting for others to bring them their next drink, their next plateful of food. I think you are right in your how you compare it to the parasites, leeches upon your legs as you wade through a river.
Exactly. I see you've read Fulgrim's treatise on parasitic natures of the virtue of the wilds.
I have not read that, sir, though I will add it to my ever-growing
You
list.
just quoted paragraph 3, chapter 9.
Well, I may not have read it, but I have experienced the pleasure of removing leeches from one's legs after wading through a river.
Hot stick, ember on the back of them. They shrivel up and let go.
Or a hot pipe works just as well.
That's the Dutchie.
We should put these. We should put our views aside while we build our own symbiotic relationship with Khuldrim. For although we may not truly like his way and agree with what how he goes about his business, we do have need of him and his brotherhood for the ultimate to act on King Dane's orders.
Operation Dwarven Shield.
Is that a South Park quote? Yeah.
Get behind the shorties.
Michael Caine plays Turk, Dwarven Scholar. You're only supposed to read the bloody index.
Did you do your? I can't even think what it's termed when you do your quotations in your book.
Oh yeah, the references that you have to.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I was trying to think about that.
We should retire and get Loftar to bed, at least his own bed.
He looks all right asleep where he is. He's leaning on his mattock.
Well, I'm concerned that Khuldrim may wake up and seek him out in the middle of the night.
That's possible. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't invite him back to bed.
I thought he was going that way.
When he did stand up and go, "Well, I'm going to bed," and look pointedly at his chambers.
I feel yet not quite settled in this place. So I will once we've put Loftar to bed, I believe I'll stay up a while and smoke and watch the stars.
To bed is a corner of the already quite overcrowded servants area. We
just go prop him up and work between two walls, where two walls meet. Any corner.
That's it. Just got to dodge the hands of Tindalos. You prop him up there. Matic kind of like in his.
I try and take the matic off him, but he can.
Yeah. What are you doing, Cirque?
Cirque doesn't feel easy. Yeah. He doesn't like what he's seen. He doesn't like the feel of the place. And he doesn't like the prospect of entrusting either knowledge or his own safety to this group of people who are so clearly not of a caliber of people he'd like to associate with, shall we say. So he will attempt to sleep, but it's kind of going to be quite uneasy and fitful with kind of each sound's probably going to jerk him awake.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not going to feel comfortable.
The only one of you guys that's really given a bed is actually Torg, where the people will make space for him. They kind of like make absolutely no interest in creating space for Loftar. For you, Sir, they'll pass down like a cushion and make sure you got a blanket and stuff. And for Torg, they'll kind of give up. One of them gives up the bed, but Torg kind of sits outside in the surrounded by this sturdy palisade. Every so often, the ashen clouds break, and you can see the night sky. That you taking deep inhale on your pipe. Anything that you want to do or to do out there before you turn in? Talk. If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Sorry. He's just going to listen really intently. So it's like he's going to sit there for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, smoking at first and putting together the events of the day. And then he just wants to listen and get a feel for the sounds of the place. So firstly, the sounds of nature and you know, any kind of the wind in the trees and what kind of wildlife there may be at that time of night that's coming to life, and also the sounds around him in the building behind him.
Okay. So give me like an awareness roll just to kind of like see how much you kind of get that. I'm happy to kind of like make it. You could so you've got this the distinctive feature wary.
Yeah.
And you've already described how you're not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
So I think if you've got the distinctive feature, what does that mean? That you can
invoke it to be inspired.
Yes. Okay. So that is available to you if you wish to do that.
I think I'll do that. So, and then I can spend the point to get 2 bonus
That's
dice.
right. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that.
So it's really the emphasis is upon you guys to kind of call and weave in the distinctive features. But yeah, as ever, I'll just try to open those doors for you. And since it's the new system, I just wanted to kind of make sure that you were thinking about that.
I was getting there anyway. I was going to go down that route.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so my total hope is 10. My current hope was 9. So it's just gone down to 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives me, with my 1 dot in awareness, that gives me 3 and the feet die. Oh, that's good. There's a Tangwa. So 11, 13, 21. Great success.
Nice roll. 21 great success. How would you like to spend your great success? You don't have to, but yeah.
Gain insight. Just insight into.
That's what everybody's going to do, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that seems to be the best one, really.
Full Superman hearing. No, you listen even quieter. Like no one notices what you're
I listen
doing.
really quickly.
Yeah.
No, I'm just. I want to be. You know, if there are rats in the food storage, I want a sense of they're scuttling around. If someone is awake in the hall and talking in a low voice, I'd like to be able to hear that murmur.
Yeah, okay. It takes all your focus to cut out to cut out Loftar snoring.
Yeah.
You reach, you have to have your noise cancelling kind of like headphones on just to kind of cut out that.
That's the magical effect.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have to have a magical effect to cut that out. That's right. But you kind of like you get into that Zen-like space. You kind of like listen around. So the usual sounds of this are a little bit more dead than you would have expected there to be. The waste is almost like just a dead zone. there's not the life, there's not the kind of the activity that you would have thought is the norm, even in like Dale or even in Erebor. And that seems to spread itself out here, so you're almost in like an oasis of dead silence. There's the sounds of people moving and just a continual kind of like sobbing, and until later on, a soothing kind of pair, almost like soft, soothing voice singing a lullaby to a child over and over, and then you hear the sharp whispers of an argument. Two male voices. You can't make out what the nature or the detail of the discussion is. You get partway through the discussion. It starts kind of like being a emotional but not confrontational discussion. Then it kind of, the tone of it becomes clearly more confrontational. There's a really sharp rebuke, and you think that was Lord Scarf. And then there's a period of silence, and then kind of it comes back up, and then you hear a kind of the rustle of a curtain, like a bead curtain, and some footsteps, and a figure kind of comes past, kind of like doesn't really see you, brushes past you. Oh, sorry, and kind of like moves off into one of the other quarters.
Do I recognise them?
I'm trying to rebuild. It's. You think it's one of the people that help with the litter, and it's certainly one of the older members of the community. Older male members of the community.
Okay. I'll just, as he comes past and apologises, I'll kind of try to catch his attention just by saying, "It's okay. I was listening for owls or birds, but it appears there are none here."
Yes, you'll listen a while, he says, and then he kind of like turns to kind of like move away.
It is incredibly quiet here.
He kind of like stops and politely turns back, but you can see the shifting of his weight, and it's kind of like yes, it is the waste. There's very little life there. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Of course.
He kind of like nods to you and then moves off.
Yep.
And the night passes, and the morning arrives. And the morning arrives earlier for some than others, and the morning arrives with a fresher head for some than others.
How do we get endurance back? Because I'm still down from the battle.
Yeah, so you're going to start to recover hope as well, because you recover hope on the first rest after a journey, I think. So let's do all of that stuff.
We can, when we're resting, we can spend our fellowship points to get hope.
Yes, that's right. That's what you do, isn't it?
And then you also get endurance back from resting.
Yep, you do. Right, so let's just deal with then. Let's just deal with this. I don't know the book well enough now to just be able to find all of this stuff.
No, I really want a physical copy with sticky bits in.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm at the phase
right.
now where I'm like, I can't be doing with searching a PDF.
Or if they could have the PDF really well categorized with bookmarks in it, because at the moment it's not the best categorized PDF I've ever seen. Right, so recovering hope. During the adventuring phase, whenever the company is resting, as you are doing now, the player heroes may spend any number of fellowship points to distribute an equal number of hope points among the player heroes. All players must agree on the distribution.
And we have 4.
I think so.
Right?
I think so.
Because Balin is our
Patron.
which gives us +1. Do we have any other boosts to Fellowship? No. So we have
I don't
4
think so.
total.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd like to recover 1.
1 takes me to max.
Yep, Matt.
Yeah, I've only lost 1 hope, so we're on hope, right? Not on endurance.
Yeah. So this is hope.
Yeah, just 1 hope. I've only.
I mean,
Does anyone need 2 if we're spending them?
I could get back up to 10.
Take it then. Might as well have everyone on full.
Cool. Oh no, my total is 12 apparently. Huh.
You cheery bastard. I have 10 and my shadow is at 4.
4. I've got 1 shadow point.
So
I'm walking around with an evil scabbard on me back, for God's sake. It doesn't feel right to try and reduce them until I decide what I'm going to do with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
What could go wrong with carrying an evil scabbard into a dragon's lair?
It's a good bartering tool. He might want it.
I'm not sure dragons barter for things they want.
Tell you what,
Yeah.
you give me that and I'll breathe fire in your face.
Yeah.
Deal.
Right.
It's a quicker death than getting eaten.
Endurance.
So endurance, I think you recover quite quickly if you're like resting in a place of safety. But I might have that.
I don't think we're safe here.
Oh, well, okay, that's fair.
Well, I don't feel safe, which I think should have an impact on it. If I'm honest, I don't think I'd have got a good night's sleep.
Yeah, you were tossing and turning.
Waking up at any little drop of the noise to anything. And
I
we all
had
know,
excellent sleep.
no one. You think you've slept well, but you've had drunk sleep. There's a difference. There's no way you're waking up feeling fresh the next morning.
Well, if I wake up in the afternoon, there's a bigger chance of that. Yes.
Right, I am going to, in fact, just search the PDF. If I can, in fact, find the search icon for this. Page 72. Page 72. Try page 72, guys.
Player heroes regain lost endurance points by resting. Short rest.
Yep.
Equal to your strength rating.
So short rest equals to stretch. So short rest is probably an hour. It's probably not an overnight rest.
Yeah, you got prolonged rest as well.
Prolonged
That's
rest
pretty
is
good.
what you're thinking of, yeah.
So usually a night's sleep.
Yes, so you've had a prolonged rest, though you can decide whether you think that is a prolonged rest for you, Cirque, or a short rest.
I'm going to go for short, which still, like, if it's my strength, it still takes me almost back to full. I'm just 1 down.
Okay.
But I feel it's more thematic.
Either way, it gets Torg back to full.
Yeah.
I'm only 1 under my normal, so it's fine.
Top
But like I say, he's definitely not had a restful night's sleep. And he slept in some dodgy places in his time, old ruins and abandoned sort of mine shafts and things, but at least there he knew what was around him.
Okay, so that's kind of like, so the morning has come, etc., etc. Okay, do we want to take a quick break, 5-minute break?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool with me. I just want to grab
that'd be good.
Fill of drink as well and stuff. Okay, so we'll take a 5-minute break then, guys. So shall we say grab what we need back by just after 1:45?
Yep.
Cool.
Is it like the first morning?
it's broken. And kind of do slowly and steadily, it starts to kind of come. Is there anything in particular that you guys want to do, or what have you, through the morning?
Yeah, I want to. I want to walk around the hall where the dwarves are sleeping, banging pots and pans really loud.
Well, what the fuck are
Another glorious day in the Dwarven Court.
Yeah.
What the actual?
Look into my
curtain,
eye.
the curtain is still kind of like up down at the other end and such like.
Yeah.
All I need for that day is to get at least a couple of sausages, get some fried eggs, and really strong coffee, and just like some piece of bread, and just chill. Half a day, all day, just relax.
You can have everything apart from
Contemplate.
strong coffee.
So it doesn't want to wait around a week to prepare. So he's basically going to be looking to try and find out whoever's in charge of logistics and put a firecracker up their ass to get us in a position to be able to go in a couple of days rather than a week, because there's no way he's hanging around here for a week. He'd rather go out in the wastes and fight a dragon than hang around here raiding filth.
Cirque, make sure you stick one up Khuldrim. That will get us going, I'm sure.
Do what?
I'll just write Prophecy of Loftar on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So it's part of the. Sorry, Joe.
In all seriousness, Torg will want to go hunting. So this is a remote place. He's kind of got the urge to use some of those old skills. So
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Any kind of dwarves that are compass mentis enough to want to join him, then he'd go with
Khuldrim's not yet kind of like woken or stirred or what have you. So a couple of the young ones will.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll still band together with whoever and just go out for a couple of hours hunting.
Yeah, okay. Give me a hunting roll to see how successful you are. So Cirque, part of the problem is that there's nobody really in charge of the gathering of such like.
In other words, there is now.
So
Cirque will then take on that role.
Okay.
18 against the target number of 14.
Okay, cool. So you're very successful in your hunt. You can't head out to the waste. You have to head further down that way. The other dwarves are not particularly skilled, a little bit circumspect, don't really come out on themselves massively in the time that they're there. And they're just a little bit wary of you. And you kind of feel towards the back end of it that they're slightly worried about heading back and being found to have gone with you. They're very eager to kind of like be going back, and then when they're coming back, they're kind of like, they hang back a little bit so that we weren't with him, kind of like stuff.
He made us do it.
With that. He's not going to push it. Like he's trying to demonstrate his worth through his actions, not by trying to manufacture something.
Yeah, okay, cool. So
by the time you get back, Cirque's done a full inventory of everything on hand and wants to know exactly what's missing and what we need to get going.
Basically, Circus kind of like, and a lot of the Dalish folk started off by seeing it as an imposition because Circus kind of like getting up in their grill a little bit. But by the end of the day, they've come around to the view that this might mean that the rest of the dwarves are fucking off. So they're kind of like a little bit more eager to kind of like help out. I
won't say he's made that clear because he probably hasn't thought of that in that respect.
They've joined the dots a little bit on it. Lord Scarf is almost turning a blind eye to it. Is not really encouraging it, and he's not discouraging it either.
He must have splinters in his arse like nobody's business. The amount he sits on fences.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of like on there. And sometime around about 4 PM, Loftar kind of like the fogginess has kind of like receded a little. The head isn't quite aching so much. Khuldrim is kind of like out, kind of like mid-morning. He seems to hold court in the hall more than anything else. Doesn't kind of get his men together, doesn't drill them, anything along those lines. And the day kind of like passes as days do. It's a little bit like a Sunday afternoon, to be honest. Towards the back end of the day, Torg, one of the old man that you kind of like saw, the older man is not an older man, the older man that you kind of brushed and had the discussion with, he kind of comes up to you and says, tomorrow we bury them. It is a hour's walk from here, for we do not wish to bury them close to the waste. We would be honoured were you to accompany us.
The honor would be mine, and please, if I can help, if there is work to be done, then I will do my share.
The ground is hard, and I see that your mattock is strong. Aid would be welcome. We are a small community, and there's a tradition that all those who take part in the community take part in the burials.
Well, I would be honoured to be a part of that, and I cannot vouch for their willing, but I will certainly ask my companions if they can help as well.
Yep. Okay. Torg comes back and tells you about it.
Yep. Yeah, I'll ask. I'm not gonna. It's not like we must do this, but I'll just let you know that I'm doing it, and I'm choosing to go.
Yeah, happy to support you. I'm happy to go. Yeah.
Sure.
Have fun. As I look up from my massive checklist.
Cirque is there getting things done. He's got his David Allen book in one hand. He's kind of like, he's got his Kanban board in the other.
That's it. Trying to move people to the right places. Unfortunately, the backlog's just too big.
I'm staying clear of that.
Cirque's in his happy place. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Cirque's managing a Trello. He's on it.
Set moves Torg and Loftar into the fucking useless section of his game. They clearly sacked it off. They're behind schedule. They're very much in the backlog.
I think we should take some. We should take some mead with us. Just
marks them on the risk register.
Yeah,
just for courage.
You've impacted Cirque's burn down chart and everything.
Let us give the brewers a chance to catch up on their own backlog.
Just a thought.
So the night passes into the next day, much as it did previously. The dwarves take advantage from like lunchtime onwards of the kind of like people. They get on with what they're doing. There's less food to go into the kitchens because the chunk of it's been sequestered by Cirque. What are you joining in the mead, Loftar?
Only if after we come back, right? Or is it? I get confused now.
I only drink after funeral.
Yeah.
So the funeral's the next day.
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So the next day, you kind of the morning comes around, etc., etc. Mid morning, a group of the men down to the kids who are maybe 10 or 11. Some of the women too. They kind of gather a set of agricultural implements. Some of them have to check them out of Cirque's new system. Like there's all kinds of receipts being kind of like RFID tags on all the implements, and you kind of you move off through some of the tracks and some of the trails. It is about an hour's walk, much further into the northern Dalelands, and there's a wooded glade. And there are mounds gathered around where it looks like generations have been buried here. And it looks like each kind of family has its own tree or coppice that they're kind of buried beside. The earth, a lot of the goodness has been drawn into these trees, and it's quite hard. It's not the best agricultural ground, so you put your back into it in terms of digging out the two deep graves. These are not shallow graves to be taken by wolves in the cold of the winter as they come down from the waste. These are deep into the scrag of the earth, and then a moving, quite stark ceremony where they're interred. Lord Scarf talks a little about the community that's been founded there, and at points it kind of chokes up a little bit. Could you all make insight rolls for me?
Just me and Loftar.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
I love them.
You might be looking inside a barrel or something, you know, get some insight.
These are my new favorite awareness rolls. Having said that, I've got a Gandalf and an 8, so that's well, actually,
That's a Gandalf.
Great success. I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's just a success. Yeah, Gandalf counts as a success. The bare minimum required to pass the roll, basically.
So if for example, if I tattooed Tengwar onto Gandalf, it's still just a normal success.
Would still
He'd already got that. It's on the bottom of
okay.
his spine.
Yeah, and
It's just
yourself,
tramp stamp.
Torg?
19, target number 16.
Yeah, okay, cool. So there are points where Scarf is recounting, and these are recent, and in the recent history, when we were joined by the brothers Khuldrim, and some of us travelled with them into the Waste last year, and we learned a great deal about the resilience of our community, and hand in hand with our dwarven companions, and it just sounds a little bit hollow. And you can see it's kind of like not believed by the audience, and whilst a small group of us and the dwarves ventured further to the edge of the dragon's lair, we were all able to return as companions in arms, and thus so it has passed through the winter and into the summer. I'm sure that they will take up further arms, and attack will become our best defence. And then kind of goes into a few more platitudes about the family, and then got it lowered down. And then the whole of the community comes and shovels in. Even the youngest child, aided by their family members, kind of hands on the shovel and put the dirt in, and it just cycles around like that until there's sufficient in, and then the main people that dug it out come and kind of like make it ready, and everybody wends their way back through. Whilst the community's away, Cirque, and you're kind of like busying and bodying yourself around, the rest of the dwarves kind of like stay themselves in the hall. But you hear a sound in Dwarvish. Ho there! Kind of coming from the gate. House of Brech! Ho there! The gate's like closed. But you can hear them. Are there any?
Way, like looking over them.
Yeah, you can kind of like go up the palisade and kind of like have a look over.
I'll go over Neb.
You see a sturdy, middle-aged dwarf with a couple of other pretty sturdy, well-armed dwarfs behind him. He has silver streaking through a black beard, and he carries a very elaborate kind of walking cane bound with strands of mithril. You recognise as Bifer the Trader, one of the heroes of the Quest of Erebor. He's got a mattock on the seat of the small cart beside him, and there's a pony pulling it through, and there's a couple of sacks.
I would have to interrupt Paul, but surely you must mention the Battle of the Five Armies, because Bifer was also present
This
in
is
that.
true.
In that. Cheers. Sorry, please.
Anytime. And you see that the kind of like the two dwarves that are with him are big burly dwarves. They're stone guarding civvies. Excellent. Do you care to open up?
Depends. What have you got that's on my checklist that I'm missing? Have you got any?
I have nothing of that nature, but I am going to say that you are Cirque of the Blue Mountain.
Yeah.
I have been sent by King Dane to meet with you and your companions.
Oh, they're at a funeral just down the road.
They okay?
Well, they are. The person whose funeral they're at isn't.
Oh, we are saddened to hear of this turn of events. Rather than us shouting our business across the rooftops, perhaps you could open the gate for us.
I'm quite busy at the minute, and the gate's a 2-man job, 2 dwarf job, 2-person job. Multiple races is confusing. I'll go see if anyone's roused enough to help you out.
Yes, please do, please. That would be excellent. Yes,
Yeah,
that was sick.
I'll go into the hall and just go, someone at the gate, and then carry on with my business.
Khuldrim is kind of just talking very much. He kind of like looks up and he waves at a couple of them, and they kind of come out with you. Kind of come have a look at the gate. They work it open. They're clearly not fluent in its operation, but they're craft enough to open it. And they open it, and their eyes just kind of like, is that buy for the trader? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good
You're welcome.
boys.
See you later.
But I have need of you.
But I'm really busy.
Oh, yes. Perhaps you could find me. He turns through the doors. Find me food and stabling for my pony.
Most of the dwarfs are in the hall.
Thank you. And kind of like the
Now, where are those barrels?
smoked fish, salted fish, fishy
Smoked
fish,
salt, salty salt.
live fish, lobster, thermidor.
Where am I getting all this seafood from? We're miles from the coast.
That's right.
Can't trust it.
Scampi, Whitby Scampi. Okay, cool. After a few, not very long, a few minutes, Bifer kind of comes out and kind of sits and just pulls out a pipe and just sits and waits with the.
Oh, you get on with Torg. He does a lot of
that. 2 members of the Stone Guard. Are you going to kind of talk to him at all?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm deep in my, I really want to get ready and get out of this place. So, unless he's already told me I haven't got anything I need on my list, so
yeah, okay.
He's dead to me.
Torg and Loftar, you return the rest of the crew, and you are greeted by a sturdy, middle-aged dwarf. He's got silver streaks in his black beard. You recognise who he is straight away. Bifer the trader, and a couple of heavies. And they stand. The rest of the people kind of go and start to get about their business around and about. You don't see any of the Khuldrim brothers, Khuldrim or anything like that. Circus kind of like got quite a sizable stock now. He's now on to kind of
a pile in the middle.
pitons, ropes, hammers, all that kind of stuff.
I'll have started quizzing whoever the thingies sort of heads of company are, as well as to what they sort of need to be able to get gone.
Oh, okay. They're really kind of like half-arsing it. They're like faxing it in.
They don't know the organisational machine that they've encountered.
You've kind of like you've got contingency for this. You expected this. It was on the risk register. You're declaring it as an issue at the next steerco. It's all going to be. It's on it. Torg.
Well,
Loftar. Well met.
Lord Bifer. and two of the Stone Guard. This is a good omen indeed to meet you out here so far from the mountain.
The
was
king
your
under the
journey?
mountain dispatched me to come and speak with you.
Oh,
You and your companions.
King Dane has sent word.
In private, if I may.
Of course, Lord. I believe outside is as private as it gets.
Who is the lord of this manor?
A man named after an accessory.
But spelled with a K, which you would have picked up unless you've read the actual adventure.
Of course, the action is entirely different. It's pronounced Scar. He is nominally in charge, though there is an interesting dynamic which we can speak of in private.
Well, first I wish to pass my regards to him and introduce myself and offer my condolences for their loss of the member of the community here.
Aye, they are grieving badly.
Yes, Master Cirque said that you had attended a funeral.
Did he?
Aye, he did.
I find it hard to imagine him thinking of anything other than barrels, but yes, we did.
He has moved through barrels. He's now, I think, on the M section of his list.
Oh, no, it's based on the Dewey Decimal System. It's not alphabetical.
He's into 1112.6 of his list.
Well, you have met Khuldrim and his brotherhood.
Yes, briefly. But my business is not with them, it is with you. He did not take kindly to such an assertion on my part, let us say.
Well,
but come. Soon as started is
outside.
Soon as started is soonest done. Perhaps over by my cart.
Of course. And
This cart's got no wheels on it anymore.
I've always enjoyed the flavor text on your hero card.
Good.
Which says.
Imagine they actually do have like trading cards of the heroes from the Battle of the Five Armies.
Hey.
That little paper. I imagine they would do.
It's one of your most memorable quotes, Lord Biffa. It says, "And winter comes after autumn." Such
ingenious
wisdom and insight. I've always valued that quote.
I don't think they got me in the best light, though. He says adjusting his spectacles that I've suddenly decided to wear him based upon the artwork.
Yes, what is it you're reading in that painting?
Dwarven porn.
A calendar. Winter comes after autumn.
It's probably accounts. He's probably doing accounts because it's a quarterly report. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's right.
He's looking the books if he's a trader.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, it would be better if we were inside. Is there anywhere that perhaps we could, or well, we will make do with what we have. Come close, come in, close. So my understanding, and I am not privy to all of this, for my instructions are from King Den himself. But I have brought from the treasury of the king some items that are going to aid you on whatever endeavour you're in. And he kind of firstly pulls out from kind of like a false bottom underneath the cart a casket, pretty big, fairly deep, almost as tall as he is, and it's a well-made, dwarven-made casket. Lots of filigree work. Kind of there's pictures of dwarven history kind of moving through this. This is an item of great value and can be wielded by a warrior of the greatest virtue and strength. And he opens the casket. This is Bryn Dum. Brilliant Doom. Make a lore roll, Cirque.
Let's have a look.
You could invoke rhymes of lore if you so wished, to become inspired. Which would mean if you spent a point of hope, you get 2 dice instead of 1 dice.
Oh, 2 like feet dice.
The success dice are the D6s.
Oh well, I get 5 already. So I'll take me risk.
Target number 14.
Yeah, I'm all right.
37.
14, 19, 22, 25. Great success.
Okay, cool. How do you want to spend the great?
I will quietly recount the lore of the weapon that I know.
Forged in the fires of the... Okay, so... Forged in the fires of the great smithies of Camel Zirak in the ancient city of Tuman Zahar, more commonly known by its Sindarin name of Nagrod. Zirak the Old crafted this weapon in the First Age, and it has passed through the hands of many dwarven heroes of past. Khuldrim runes run along the leathers of the handle and onto the head of the mattock. When swung in anger, the sound of dwarven war cries can be heard on the cusp of hearing, enheartening allies and causing discomfort in enemies. Brilliant Doom, Bryn Doom. And with reverence, Bifer lifts this and passes it across to Loftar. Dane.
Cheers, mate.
Was beseeched by you, and this, if it brings about the end of the dragon, is an investment worth making. So it's a mattock with the ordinary reward of a keen. The first enchanted reward is Flame of Hope. The second enchanted reward is Gleam of Terror. So, Keen grants usual attack roll, score a piercing blow, and a 9+. Flame of Hope, and I'll send you a Word doc with this in. When you hit your target with a weapon blessed by this quality, all members of the company, including yourself, recover 1 point of endurance, +1 for each Tengwar rolled.
Excellent.
And then Gleam of Terror. If you take the Intimidate Foe combat task, you double the amount of hate your enemies lose on success.
I like that. Yeah, I've done it once, and it really, I think it's a nice, something nice to do. Yeah, very good, very impressed.
And then he reaches in to the same place and pulls out a small bag, a small kind of velvet bag with a set of silver runes stitched into it. So you recognise this from Domi. Domi had it as part of his gear. This is for you, Cirque. It was gifted to King Dane by Domi the Lawmaster upon his retirement from adventuring, and Dane believes that this may be you would be the most worthy possessor of this. And he kind of passes it across to you.
Omi's retired?
Aye. He's decided to rest a while in Erebor before he returns back to his homeland.
Wow. I didn't think he'd ever give up the chase.
He has decided that adventuring is perhaps not the career for him anymore. He's getting too old, but I'm sure that he will be seeking to pass on the knowledge that he has gained. A role in writing down all that he has learned, crafting songs and stories that contain the truth of the matter. And you can open the bag, and inside there are flat stones, each of which is carved with a crystal rune. And you can see that the stones are designed to be kind of worn either around the neck or tied onto a belt. And the stones are about the size of a 10-pence piece. You know, kind of like flat, worn down. Give me a lore roll.
Ooh, yeah. Uh, 23, great success.
Okay. Do you want to spend the 10 qua?
Yeah, why not? Insight into what they do,
Yeah, okay.
or
So,
what the runes are.
so the runes of the crystal alphabet, but they're kind of like, you get each of the letters of the crystal alphabet, but then you kind of get a number of them have got like word fragments, but like repeating word fragments, so like a prefix or a suffix. And common language constructs within crystal, etc. And they're really light in comparison to their size, and you don't really know a great deal about them. Don't know masses, but you know Domi really kind of paid a lot of attention to them, and you can see that they're worn. Certainly, a number of them are worn quite badly, and from what you can remember of these kinds of puzzle stones, again, ancient aged things, is that they're there to help focus the mind and for help for you to kind of like see through into patterns of understanding and knowledge. So what they do is they grant a blessing for riddle from Durin's folk. So what that means is that if you're using the puzzle stones when you're making a riddle roll, it'll give you 2 success dice additional, and it also allows you to achieve a magical success. It is known that dragons are tricksy creatures from an age long past, and that there may be insight beyond that which is normally granted to mortal ken will be required to defeat this kind of creature.
And then that takes me from 0 to 2 on riddle.
That is what Dane has instructed me to bring for you.
Thank you.
And a message for you, Torg.
Oh, so the other 2 get new toys to play with, and I get a message.
Pull your
Excellent.
socks up and do a better job.
What
Yes.
he said. There's a place on Dane's council available, and any who has led a company to defeat such a dangerous creature as a dragon would be more than fit for a place on that council. He knows the leadership, the humility, the balance that you bring, and Dane wishes a council that has dissenting voices as well as has agreeing voices. So whilst I do not have a trinket here nor anything definite to offer to you, the contribution that you could make would be multiplied manyfold through your voice on such a council. And it has a message for you all. There is another evil stirring somewhere. The man that the elves call Mithrandir, the Grey Wanderer, has written to Dane and to the Lawmasters of Erebor. Something more than dragons stirs to create dissension and disagreement in this land. But that must be somehow connected to the dragon. Any information that you're able to locate and bring to bear would be of great value to all of us. But for now, I think we should be going. Quick, let us saddle our pony to the trap and
The saddle's gone.
Yeah,
As
the
is
pony's
the
gone.
pony.
Yeah.
It's all been requisitioned.
For the war.
Yeah.
So as you kind of like, so Loftar, you've got the heft of this mattock, this fantastic looking thing, and kind of Bifra is starting to kind of get unpicked from Cirque's mound of stuff, everything that he actually needs to do his own life. You kind of like turn and you can see Khuldrim stood by the entrance of the hallway, silhouetted by the light coming from it as it starts to fade away a little towards the end of the day, and he's just watching intently this exchange that has happened before him. And I'm going to call the session there because I thought Matt was going to off the chair at some point. It's not half.
No, it's just
He's
my.
hung over as anything.
Yeah, exactly. No, my chair just keeps. I've got this mat, but it keeps sort of moving. My chair, it's fine.
Oh no, well, it's half 12 where you are, so I think it's fair to to do that.
Definitely.
So
Nice.
yes, close the session there, guys.
Magic weapon, magic toy, huge burden, and a job.
Great news! You get to be a politician.
That's it. Yeah.
Obviously, that's a hugely gracious opportunity.
Yeah. It's like
So,
serving in
It
the
seems.
cabinet.
It seems, Joe, that you are going into the family business after all. I should say, Torg.
Well, maybe he'll grow into that role. He's not quite there yet, though. Torg, he's a work in progress.
Okay, cool. So that was our second 2E session, which I think flowed a little bit better than the first. We weren't trying to stress so many of the mechanics and such like, but I think the kind of game got out of the way a little bit for that session, to be perfectly honest, and we focused on on just playing in the world, which I thought was pretty good. So maybe not high octane, not like a James Bond film start to go and like get back after a period of hiatus, but I thought it was good.
I thought we've done all right. We've done good.
I think
was-
so. I think Matt's ability to sound drunk is quite disturbing. Next time that I speak to you, Matt, and you're actually drunk, I'll be like, are you really drunk or not?
Yeah, it's
But he's
an
got
acquired
to learn to
skill.
pretend now.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
afford
right.
to do it in real life.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So are we playing then on Friday the 24th of September?
Yeah, we're aiming for our 6.
6:30 for a 7 p.m. start, but it's closer to 6:30 than 7. Is that cool with everybody then?
Yeah, and an earlier finish, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So we'd probably finish 10ish, which actually, I'm quite happy with, if I'm entirely honest.
Yeah, after a long week, that's fine by me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good stuff. Right then. So thank you for watching. Thank you for. Thank you for watching. Got any questions?
Really, thank you for watching.
Yeah, honestly, I think there may be some edits incoming to that part of the stream. And we'll.
Subscribe.
Sorry.
Like and subscribe.
Oh yeah. Smash the like button. Are you supposed to smash the like button?
I don't think people say that anymore.
Oh, shit. And what do they say now?
They do say, see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Okay, fair
They
enough.
tell you about to press the like button or to press the dislike button because both of them are good for the YouTube algorithm.
There's a dislike button. Oh, the thumbs down thing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So what engagement is good, even if it's
Anything's
bad
better,
engagement.
like even if you're annoying people, yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair dues. Whatever the YouTube algorithm needs, get on it. That's all I'm saying.
And subscribe only has use if you actually then watch the content.
Oh, really?
If you subscribe and don't watch the content, you actually have a negative impact on the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm very sorry to everybody who's been subscribed to from Kenny. Because he just subscribes almost automatically. Cool. Anything from anybody?
No, I'm good.
Just say that we really do not care about Google's algorithms.
I have to agree with you.
It matters to people. It really does not matter.
I do care about people commenting and saying whether they enjoyed
that's
it and
lovely.
asking questions and all that kind of stuff. I like that level of engagement, definitely. Without actually
Audience participation is more than welcome.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Thank you very much, Matt, for staying up past your bedtime.
Yep.
It's all right.
Yeah, his eyes are getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
It just crosses now.
Yeah. That's fair. Cool.
Maybe I'll
Excellent.
get more rum next time. Thanks.
Yeah. That's why I don't drink, because I'd be like... Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.
Cheers,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.